All right, peace, peace, peace. First and foremost, man, hopefully the Most High in your house has a blessing your day. By His mercies, you are consumed. We're alive in the Most High in your house as body, too. We're naturally alive. And I want to get into this, man. It's another day to be alive, man. Be with the Most High in your house, y'all naturally alive, man. We kind of going to get into this real quick. I was sitting here reading Proverbs 13. Get on, girl. Sorry, Spirit, again. And I got Pepper with me, my other cat. But that's another story for another day. That's something else. Yeah, we're gonna talk about being a firstborn again, man. How the gospel witness and testimony, man. That's how the ultimate goal is. Let's go to John 1 real quick, man, because that's really what is really being born of the Word and being of the Most High Yahushua, man. Like he said in Luke 11, seed is a word, and and being of His seed, man. That being of the Most High Yahushua seed, man. Sons and daughters of the Most High Yahushua, sons and daughters of God. So. And you're going to look at this too. Let's get John chapter 1. I'm going to be real quick. John chapter 1 verse 12. It says, but as many as received him, to them he gave them power to become sons of Yahweh, even to none that believe on his name. His name, Exodus 34:6, Numbers 14:18, Jeremiah 9:24. Not only the name, but what the name entails. And those are the Most High Yahweh being that tree, that tree of life, and that tree bears fruits of spirit. So that's what's contained in the Most High Yahweh's name, the fruits of the spirit contains, man. That's how you know you're like your Father in heaven, and like the Most High Yahweh, pretty much. But let's grab this Proverbs 13 verse 13 verse 22. It says, a good man leave an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. So see, and we see an example of wealth for the sinner is for the righteous or the just, honestly, we see that with the whole us, our forefathers, our ancestors leaving Egypt, because there wasn't that spoil for the Most High and Yahushua's chosen, So yeah, that's where the example of that in the law is. But also too, let's see who this good man is. Let's go to Matthew 19 real quick. Matthew chapter 19 verse 17. It says, why thou callest me good? If there is none good but one, that is Yahweh. But if thou enter into life, keep the commandments. So see, this is what the rich man, and when his pretty much his faith got tested, and Yahweh was doing what he was saying. Because this we always say, the Most High Yahweh, they're men of their word. Honestly, they follow their own principles. But that's another story for another day. But notice how it says there's only one good. Even Yahweh is good, in my eyes, and because listen, doesn't the First John and Ecclesiasticus Sirach say it's good to follow the Lord, and Yahweh is our head, so it's good. He's good, but even Yahweh is called that's why he's the best, greatest man to walk the earth. Even that's why he came with such humility, man, because this is the Son of God right here. But he said, why are you calling me good? There's only one good. So that good man is the Father, man. But the Most High Yahweh, man, that's what it is. That's that good man. That we hear about in Proverbs. Now, on a natural tip, of course, it's kind of talking about generational wealth. Even during that time with our ancestors, our forefathers, leaving off land, inheritances, to your sons, pretty much, or to your children. Even if you didn't have sons, we read in Numbers 27, pretty much a man's children gets an inheritance. So, the wife and children, whoever, they're leaving off inheritance. That's what it's talking about. Even in the modern day now, as they say, generational wealth, or even now, people leave lands and inheritance stuff to their children, man. That's what it's about. And that's why we always say on a natural tip, there's nothing wrong with that, man. Because listen, get it. I always say this too on natural tip. Steph Curry's story is just as good as LeBron's story. Just because it doesn't always have to be a struggle story. I know we like that, of course, and there's nothing wrong with that, because it's just a beautiful thing. It's that what Pac said about the rose that grew from the concrete. We love that. But also, too, there's nothing wrong with somebody just inheriting things that their family, the generation before, that their father and mother, the generations before, worked for. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how it's supposed to be, honestly. Even speaking of LeBron even did that. Even coming from where he come from now, what he did with Bronny, that's just what it is. A lot of people don't like that, but that happens in the corporate businesses. It happens all the time in the business world, corporate world, and we see it even in the corner stores with the mom and pop store, poppy store, or in New York they call it bodega. We see that. Ishmael does it. The Arabs do it. We see this all the time. So yeah, that's neither here nor there. But That's just on the natural tip. But now that we're talking about being a son and daughter of the Most High Yahushua, oh, me was that you, Pepper? I thought that was my cat under me. It says, and yeah, we know the Most High Yahushua, is that good man. Honestly, a good man leaveth the inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. So see, Matthew 19 verse 17. It says, and he said unto him, why callest thou me good? And there is none good but one. But that is Yahweh. But if thou will enter into life, keep the commandments. So see, yeah. So see, let's get this in Revelation. We're gonna close out with this. Revelation 20. This is all about being the firstborn. It's all about being the son of the Most High Yahushua, man. That's what it's about, man. And shout out to Brother Assembly of Firstborn too, man. And brothers like Akawar, brother Assembly from Assembly of Firstborn, Kwame Call, Shalimah, Brother Elijah, and other brothers that talk about preach the gospel, the witness, the testimony, new covenant, things of that nature. Because ultimately, about being about the son of the Most High Yahushua. Because you know what it is too, Jacob, Israel. That was just really a precursor to being the son of the Most High Yahushua, because that was just you can be, but that's really more of, but you still come from a natural man, that being Jacob, Yaquab, or Israel, honestly, but now, being the son of the Most High Yahushua, being the son of the Most High Yahushua, you're really you're born of the word, pretty much. You're not born of the flesh, even though how righteous Jacob was, but you still, or that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or even the line of Shem, you're still not from the natural. You're not of a natural man, you're just of the spirit. You're of the Most High Yahushua, which is really of the spirit, man. Honestly, just that. But it's kind of the law and in the witness, in the gospel, man, and the faith. Because nothing wrong with the law, but faith and believing in the Most High Yahushua is better. That's what the whole garden thing was about. Knowledge, the trees in the Garden of Eden was about. But the tree of good and evil, that's what that was. But that's neither here nor there. But let's go to this Revelation chapter 21 verse 7. And he that overcometh shall inherit all things. I will be his God, and he shall be my son. So see, that's the inheritance of being the firstborn. Just in the law, the firstborn inherits all things. But going back to what we said though, man, we can't be even though this is because this is a man way more righteous than I am. It's more of being because it could happen to anybody of us, honestly, putting our own lusts and own desires. Before being the Most High Yahushua's will, because this was written before I learned it, because Reuben per se, we talked about this in the past, how Reuben, even though it was always for Judah, because Yahushua came from of that line, but even in this aspect of how Reuben lost his birthright due to his own lusts and desires, honestly, to be firstborn, but it is what it is. He still got a name written in heaven on earth. We still talk about him. Shoot, he's a tall patriarch. He's one of the patriarchs of where we come from, but still, it's the aspect of that lust can be sexual or anything. Anything of your own will can get in the way of you being of the firstborn, being a son and daughter of the Most High Yahushua, man. So that's why it says watch your own desires, be mindful of that, if you seek the Most High Yahushua first, man, and and seek the kingdom first, and do their will, because their will lasts forever, and my will is only temporary, only to my own lust and own desires, and that's temporary. And that's not that can't last forever, man. So that's just honestly is what it is, though, man. So yeah, man. So we kind of talked about that before, but yeah, man, it's all about good man leaves inheritance, to his children's children, man. That inheritance is what being the firstborn, of being the son of the Most High Yahushua, man. Going back to that place of pleasure, man. That lust, that will, that desire should be the desire of, let's get right to this Proverbs 13, because our even that Romans 10:1, that's our desire too. That's my desires too. That all of our people get saved from sin and death and the judgment. Even though it's not gonna happen, but that's is what it is, man. So let's grab this Proverbs chapter 13 verse. Proverbs 13, and where else? Where we gonna be at? Oh yeah, verse 19. Let's go a couple verses up. The desire is accomplished, is sweet to the soul, but it is abomination to fools to depart from evil. So yeah, that's another story for another day. But yeah, it says the desire to accomplish is sweet to the soul, man. The righteous man, like that desire, man, is really when you seeking the Most High house, like will doing their will, like we're seeking knowledge, wisdom, understanding, more faith of the Holy Spirit, things of that nature, man. But you know. That's it is what it is. And the desire to go to a place, a desire, your pleasure to be in a place of pleasure, man. Like, the pleasure is you, the pleasure of the Most High in your house, man. And there's pleasure, and their pleasure to give you a place of pleasure, which is the Garden of Eden, man, which is the kingdom, man. So that's just is what it is, man. Hopefully it's edifying, man. So peace.